You'll learn how to buy, sell, rehab, and invest a tad above the rest.
Why you should invest in real estate. There are many benefits from investing in real estate. So the very first thing is passive income. I know a lot of people want to just buy a house so that you can live in, raise your children in your home, and you don't have to worry about neighbors. But maybe you should rethink this, especially for those of you that are self-employed or deal in a cash business. Maybe you can get a multi-unit, and that way you have rents flowing in that will allow you to do some other things that you're looking to do along with your cash influx from your personal business. Because sometimes things get a little slow, and you need a little boost. And when things get a little slow, you have that rent coming in. A lot of times people say, well, I don't want to be a landlord. You don't necessarily have to, your tenants don't have to know that you own the property. I've owned property for over 20 years. Most of my tenants don't know that I own the property. They just think I work at the property management company. Most of the people that come into my real estate brokerage don't know that I own the brokerage. They still come in looking for Mr. TADD. And I just say, he's not in right now, how can I help him? So a lot of times we want to pat ourselves on the back, but in doing that, we expose our secrets. So if you are a landlord and you're living in the building that you own, you get no rest if they know you own the building. And your tenants are more likely to try to become your friends, so when they have an excuse about paying rent, you're now friends, you have that personal relationship, you're more apt to feel sorry for them. But real estate is a business. And it is one that will afford you a lot of trinkets and opportunities. I was able to send both of my children to college, no student loan. My daughter owns her house cash. She bought it cash, no mortgage. She is 35, she's been in that house for 9 years. This was done through real estate investing. I would not let her buy a single family when she first got out here. She bought a 3-flat. She stayed in that 3-flat for 3 years. She sold that 3-flat, bought herself a house. My son bought a building while he was in college. He now lives in Portland. His house costs more than my house. So real estate is a great way to develop passive income. There's a lot of different ways that you can make sure that your tenants are going to pay and things of that nature. Real estate is also a way to afford you some other things. We have a slide once they get it going. So it'll give you a solid retirement plan. So I've got about 5 more years left to work in this business. I'll never actually retire, but I'm going to slow down. That's the promise that I keep telling myself. So my retirement plan is not tied into a 401k that somebody else controls. My retirement is tied into the investments that I've made. I have a building that I'm selling now that I'll net right about $90,000. I've got a 2-flat that I'll buy next week that I'll make $100,000 on. I've got another building that's in the works. They're rehabbing it right now. That's why I'm moving my real estate office to, but I'll have about $200,000 worth of equity. I think based on those numbers alone, I could have a comfortable retirement for a few years. But you take your money from your real estate and you reinvest it so that you continue to make money that you control, not somebody else. And you can buy real estate anywhere in the world. You do not have to be limited to the state or the city that you live in. Right now we have about 400 investors from all over the world that are investing in Chicago, and they're making money. I just sent out checks this morning, $2,000 to one client, $500 to another client, $1,000 to another client. They've never even been here to see the property that they own, but they get a check every month. This is solidifying their retirement income so that they don't have to continue to work. They're not going to be looking to their 401k, and I'm not telling you not to invest in your 401k. By all means, always invest in your retirement plans, but have an alternate source as well. We always need multiple sources of income. The next thing is legacy building. Put your money in the bricks. The reason we're telling you to put your money in the bricks is because there's been houses and buildings that's been on this earth a lot longer than we have. Most of the houses are more than 100 years old. Values go up, they go down, but they never zero out. Even the raggediest house is worth some money. Your money is safe in the bricks. 9 times out of 10, real estate appreciates. And even if it depreciates, you can rent it out as opposed to selling it. There's always something you can do with real estate. So you want to make sure that you put your money there. The other great thing about real estate, it does not take a special skill to collect the rent. You can do it, your children can do it, their children can do it, and all you're doing is just passing the deed from one generation to the next. Imagine where you would be today if your parents had been able to pass the deed, give you a piece of property that was paid for, or even one that had a mortgage and yet it was bringing income. Imagine where you would be today if you were able to provide, if you were provided such an inheritance. That's what we teach, legacy building. You are going to be able to go out and purchase property and then pass this property on to the next generation. If you can't pass the property itself, you can pass the idea. We sit around the coffee table and the dinner table and we talk about what happened on TV, what's going on in the streets, when we should be talking about how can we move our family forward? How can we make sure that our children are not paying rent for the rest of their lives? This is one way to do it, through real estate. So you want to go ahead and make this investment in yourselves. The next thing, generational wealth. We're talking about wealth, not being rich, but being wealthy. Being rich means I don't have to worry about my bills being paid. I'm good. I can make it every month. That's rich. Wealthy is my grandchildren's bills are paid. That's what we're trying to get to. You can take this FHA loan that Ricardo is talking about and you buy a 4-unit. You live in that building for 1 year. You're living rent-free. So the money that you would have been paying for rent, you put that to the side. That next year, you got enough money to do what? Buy another one. Now you go buy another one. Or maybe this time you buy your house. Because now you've got enough money saved up to buy your house. The building is going to pay the mortgage for your house as well as itself. So now you're still living for free. You continue to save that money, and then you get another one. This is how you build generational wealth. And now you have multiple incomes coming in. So a lot of times, when I have an investor that needs to start out with a 2-unit, they start with the 2-unit and they build out the basement. I can live in the basement for a year. A year goes really quick. I'm not going to take the first floor or the second floor because that's my money. So for the first floor and the second floor, I might be able to get $1,200 a month. For the basement, I can only get $900. Which one is going to make me wealthier? Me living on the first floor saying this is my building, or me living for a year in the basement saying this is my check. I got this mailbox money coming. You have to think about which one will serve you better. So we can't live for today. We have to live for tomorrow and the next day and the next day. We got to think about the kids that we're bringing into the world. Even if you're not bringing a kid into the world, you got to think about your nieces and nephews. These lessons can be taught to everyone. The next thing is college tuition. So I already told you guys that I sent my kids to college for free, using rent checks to do it. College now, my kids have been out of college, I'm going to date myself a little bit, but they've been out of college. I think my son has been out now for 10 years. So college tuition is just a little bit higher. But guess what? So are rents. They just published an article saying that right now the rents are the highest that they have ever been, and they are increasing 20 to 30% per month. Not per year, but per month. In one of the deadliest neighborhoods in Chicago, you can't get a 3-bedroom apartment for less than $1,300. $1,300 a month to give to somebody else so that they can send their kids to college and build generational wealth in their family. You deserve the same. So these are reasons that you need to go ahead and invest in real estate. Nobody can stop you except yourself. The next one is financial freedom. I can't tell you all how good it feels to be able to go wherever you want to go, when you want to go. You're not sitting back saying, when I get my income tax check, then I can do this. When I get my income tax check, then I can do that. It's just a matter of, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do. To live that type of life is, I'm sure, what everybody in this room wants to do. It is attainable through real estate. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some work on your part. But as somebody that lives the life that they wanted to live for quite some time, it's well worth it. It is well worth it. So your next opportunities, when you have more money, you can do more things. So I think two of you said that you have barbershops. Can you imagine expanding those barbershops? Having 1, 2, 3, and it's different ways to do it, and it's all through real estate. So a barbershop is something that you can do from home, right? You can get the license to do it from home. Just imagine you buy a 2-flat building, and instead of paying somebody booth rent, you set up shop in the basement of that 2-flat building. Now you just increased your income because you're no longer paying rent. And you can rent to other people because you can have more than one chair. You can rock it out, set it up whichever way you want to set it up. But now, since you're no longer paying rent, you can save more money to go to the next level. And depending on how long it takes you to save the money, is your next shop. For the children, there are many games that involve real estate. And if you start playing these games with your children and emphasize the real estate, they will get this message early. My grandson was running around here earlier today, and he can tell you all about a lease. He can talk to you about mortgages. He can talk to you about evictions, rental rates, all of it. And that is because I want to make sure he knows how to invest as he grows older. He is already saving for his first building. So his grandparents match 2 for 1 right now. So for every dollar he put in, we put in 2. So by the time he graduates high school, he will have enough money to purchase his first building. That will be his 18th birthday present. So when he comes out of college, he should be buying his second building. So these are the things that we should be reaching for our children, not a car. We all need a car to get from point A to point B, but the moment you drive it off the lot, and some of them before you even drive off the lot today, the value depreciates. That is not a good financial lesson. So we need to talk to them about investing in real estate now, and these games, Monopoly, Life, Jeopardy, we're coming up with a game called Jeopardy for children. But these all instill the principles of real estate into our children so that their mindsets will be different when they get to the point where they can actually purchase. And if we do that, they will be so much better off than we were.
Like us, follow us, strive and create wealth with us. TADD Realty Incorporated, a tad above the rest.